Dummy Switch Pod.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The boys are back. How are you, Chris?
Coders. Look, no, we're feeling like a champion for sure. I'm happy, man. I don't know how you feeling, bro.
Good myself. The Dan Carters of podcasting here to give your opinions, our flagrant views, your problematic faves. We're back for another week.
And today,
Yeah, lots to talk about. Church announcements. Obviously, you can find us here, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and it's no team announced yet. It seems as though we're taking Wales as a serious
no,
threat,
it's a serious game.
although I don't believe it's a
But,
serious threat.
Look, serious game, but we should dust them. Wales right now. I mean, look, for far too long, we've been, trying to be respectful and say no test teams and whatnot. Yes, we see that, but at this moment, after that dismantling this weekend, there's no team that can hang with this group. The dynasty is still in order. It's still the train is moving. The green machine. So it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who he picks.
Yeah, but I think that's the reason why it's gone to a Thursday is that there are names that he cannot pick. Prior to this, Aronsa, I think he had gone back home with concussion. And then there's a long list of Marx, Thomas Dutoy, Bowen Fenter, Lua Deacha, RG, Peter Steff, Grant Williams, Pollard, Lubbock, Creel, Colby, and Edwill that are all unavailable for selection. So I think that's the reason why they've pushed it.
Yeah.
So, but again, for me, Wales, they kept it close at times with the All Blacks, but in terms of the team, the win we're coming off of, the form we're coming off of, and also what we've built in terms of a year as a group, I think has been very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Although some argue England are more impressive as what they've done in a year, but we'll get to that later on.
We'll get to that later on. But Kodas, like you say, based on what the Boks have stacked up this whole season, this one is just a look. It's a formality. Yes, it's going to be a test match, and all of that is going to have all of those things. But at the end of the day, the Boks will get the result. And there's jobs, and guys after they saw what happened on the weekend, there's guys that are G'd up. They want to also show, look, I can also inflict that much damage, on my opposition. So look, no disrespect to Wales, but respectfully, y'all are trash right now. So so the Boks are gonna win that one. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, respectfully disrespectful. Other news. World Player of the Year, Malcolm Marx. If we're being honest about it, this is like a lifetime achievement award.
Yeah.
Where he's been nominated before. This is not his best year.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen it with other players as well. Even Ox getting a nomination, where it's like a year late,
Yeah.
and it seems like they do everything a year late with these awards. Like I said, Malcolm Marx is not his best year by any means.
Yes.
So, but at the same time, it's like we take it, we welcome it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It was probably should belong to a French winger, or it should belong to Ox.
No.
Okay.
No. Not even the French winger. Leave that French winger alone. No, Ox.
Yeah.
For me, if Ox had played the game against Ireland, for example, I think maybe he would have then cemented it. But I think because Marx, when you look at the shifts that he's had to put in especially on this tour as well, and how he became, like, ultimately just sort of became the number two, based on form, execution better than the others, and having a bigger impact. And yes, so like you said, we'll welcome it for sure. But for me, Ox, and the difference, go back and watch the footage. You'll see when Ox is being at Loosehead, it looks different. That the McLean, it looks different. It looks different, as opposed to, as much as yes, we got the reward, but you cannot deny him, So, maybe it will be later for him as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, big ups for Marx. I think it's been a long time coming as well for him because as well he's also over the years stacked up some good seasons and maybe it was overdue. So regardless of the iffiness of this season, so yeah, big ups.
Yeah, the other award, Coach of the Year. They weren't. These are the Lions Awards. It's Marx getting award, John Mitchell getting award. It's the World Lions Rugby Awards. You see.
But then you must be careful because the Bulls will say no. It's also their award as well.
So yeah. Again, Mitchell getting it for me. It's not. I think this is also the thing with South African fans. We have that reputation online, and I'd like to exclude myself to say that John Mitchell wins the award. So what, man?
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, it's okay. It doesn't. Rassie doesn't get the award. It doesn't matter.
The thing is, Rassie Erasmus will go down in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's for me. That's the difference. Rassie Erasmus will go down in the Hall of Fame. As the I mean, already he's a doctor. We must put some respect to his name. And he showed why he's the doctor of rugby for here in South Africa. So I really doesn't matter. And I mean, Coach of the Year, that was already announced early doors. If you remember, they snuck that one where it was a bit confusing because I thought it was women's category, not realizing that they were saying no, we're giving, and it was too soon. World Rugby, and we see how you guys move. We're just saying, like we're tired of World Rugby and how they move and their shenanigans.
Yeah, for me, in awards, I take the Jose Mourinho approach where he threw it into the crowd, the medal. If you won, you're the winner. You don't need a medal to remind you. You don't need an award to remind you. And again, they're going to troll the SA fan base by now, bigging up England in a way in the media that I think they're 11 of 11 this year or whatever it is.
They didn't play us.
Yeah, I mean, but even so, I mean, I'm not... It's fine. They didn't play the Boks. I would have enjoyed them if they did play the Boks at Twickenham. It would have been great.
Change this weekend.
But I'm also
Put them there.
The only problem is our guys are missing.
No,
but
even with our guys missing, put them there. We've got the doctor of rugby. We've got the doctor of rugby coders. No, put them there. No. Like look, England. Yes, they've always been that country, that team that hypes themselves up. And they mustn't feel too bad. They must give South Africa props because we are a former colony. New Zealand as well, Australia. So they must be proud of their results because this is their results. You know what I mean? It's establishments that have been put in. I mean, you look at all these schools here in South Africa that produce these Boks. I mean, need we go into that? So they must be proud of these are the fruits of their labor. So they mustn't cry now or try and claim that they're the best. No, I think that's they're reaching there because they haven't been tested. Yeah, they're a good team for sure and all of that, but they must stop. They must stop and I think really the world just needs to swallow their pride and say this is the best team that that they've ever seen that we've ever seen because. New Zealand, yes, it was always about attack and whatnot. We've always known that. And the thing is, South Africa has always been known for the physical prowess and whatnot. But now it's physical prowess with precision, with intention, with execution, and all of a sudden, others are uncomfortable with it. No, this must be celebrated, and for England to try and sneak themselves into the conversation, they just need to stop, and yes, because South Africa is South Africa. It's in Africa, number one. Let's break it down to the deep-rooted psychology. That's what it is. It's supposed to be third world country. How are these guys beating us? And they're all feeling like that. Maybe except New Zealand, and Australia, but in the north, you know what I mean? So and they've been for a long time wanting to be powerhouses of rugby, and it's not going to happen.
For me personally, I don't think it's that. I think that they know South African fans online are susceptible to trolling.
But it's also that.
And if they say England are in good form, England is looking like the best team of the world, the best scrum in the world,
Let them be.
then they'll get the engagement by South Africans like, no, but it is us, it is us. That's where I go back to. If we know it's us, we don't have to fight that it's us. But anyway, moving along, Ireland hosting the Boks. We haven't had a win there in a while. RG's 50th, a founding member of the bomb squad. And no Mostert, no Arendse. Moody moved to the wing. And early on, we got that try through Willem. So you could see the Boks, the whole thing relies on that kicking game, the chase. You had no Ethan Hooker, who competes well in the air. But you've got Colby, who, smaller stature, does it well himself. You've got Moody, who does it well himself. And Moody was troubling O'Brien on that side the whole game.
No.
From early.
Until he knocked him out. Until he knocked him out. So it reminded me of Ray Lewis saying, get off the field. Like, hey, that's all that was left, because I think, like you say, Moody was troubling him. And right now you're seeing Kenyon Moody being on, I think he's so comfortable at test level where you can play him at 13. He slots in. Okay, maybe the other week the defensive reads weren't quite there. Maybe you put it down to combinations, but it will get better. It won't be an issue. So you see that him playing there 13, whether it's wing, he's comfortable. He can do it. And look, it's just too much firepower from the Boks. The execution of that first try. I mean, that was what you wanted in terms of you getting first possession. Your first possession in the opposition's off is what you do with that ball, and they punish them. And that's, for me, that's what set the tone for that game. Then that's when you knew, and even you saw how Willemse, he was pumped. And for me, I knew from the anthem. I'll say this. Yeah, it's easy. People say it's easy to say it now, but from the anthem, I was like, today, and it was exactly that. Not necessarily scoreboard wise, but the punishment that they put these Irish. For me, they broke them. They broke their backs, and that they're gonna have to do a recount of stock over there.
Yeah, and this is like all stuff early on. Visa, even if you look at that try that Willemse scored, it came from a Visa turnover in our own 22.
After a mistake.
Yeah, and Visa also, you can see that difference that he makes and that he was missing against Italy. And the work that he does on the ground. Yeah. Also, shout out Thomas Dutoy, the work he does on the ground. And he's he's also a guy that, he's at a proper test season the whole year, actually. And what I liked throughout this game was right from that first, especially the lineouts, what they were doing, the variation that they used, number one. They got the lineouts right. There was only two where it was a skew throw and Ireland competed. But the lineouts, that's fine. Yeah. For as many as we had, that's fine. Yes. And what I also liked was the variation that they had, and also the way that they spread themselves across the field, doing the midfield hits and then going wide, and then changing at another time, doing a midfield hit and then coming this side for another try. So the variation that they had at set piece, I felt, I don't know who makes those calls, but it was very good. And then also the aspect of Tony Ball, that guys were spread across the whole field. It's like they put arms out like this, that, the passes, it could be a short pass, it could be a long pass. And that's the thing that creates doubt in defenders' minds. And I think that's what we saw for the Willemse try, is that it created that uncertainty in the defender's mind.
Yes.
Yeah, then moving on from that, Sasha, he put the shoulder in. Penalty given. Personally, I've seen them given. We saw it not given. They can argue and say we are whining the past 2-3 weeks. That's why it wasn't so hard. But on a normal day, I would say penalty. But I know how harsh they are. Yeah. So I was surprised. I thought maybe they would have given yellow.
I was expecting yellow there. Yeah, I was expecting yellow there, just on the basis of how they've the officials have refereed against the Springboks. So look, when you look at it and you look at it, however you want to look at it, you look at it different angles. if you want to see head contact, you will say, there was head contact. But the majority of the contact for me was shoulder to shoulder. So
Shoulder
to shoulder. We answer South Africa's call because that's what the Boks did, and like, look, penalty, no need for a card. You just carry on, the other incident though, that's different, and we've seen worse. That actually we've seen less given cards, so look, it is what it is, and I don't think it was a card for real.
Yeah, for me, I feel like the first half for the Boks was better than the second half, and Sasha, if we're being honest, he hasn't been good for long periods in the games, but he has these moments, these game-breaking moments. And then every week he's being nominated for man of the match, and then he's even winning man. I think he was even man of the match in this game, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it him? I don't know.
But he was nominated. I know he's nominated for sure.
He was nominated, yes.
Yeah, he was nominated for sure.
I won't lie.
Yeah, so even for him, there's moments where he's not finding touch, or he's not really doing that great in play. Mistakes. But again, I'm not going in on the guy. All I'm saying is that no, he's getting man of the match awards through other means.
He's the chosen one.
He's
the chosen one. He's the guy, and the world knows it. You know what I mean? So look, and like you say, yes, there's it's not always full consistent 80 where he's been, it hasn't been, but those moments that he's had, I think he's shown enough. He's still fresh in that setup, so he can only get better, you'd hope. And like, for me, I'm not too worried, because what he's also delivering for you, he gives you some outcomes, you know what I mean, as opposed to maybe if you had a guy that was just everything that he does is just like, come on, man, get him off the field. You don't feel like that with him, because what he or that it just takes one moment and he's gonna and you gotta try, or so. You know what? For me, you would have learned, and you'd expect that going forward, you should. I would think that you should see better performances from him, especially in the Springbok setup, but also, taking that through to club level, where he'll be more free to express himself as he wants, but for him to work on, those precision moments, putting teams away, because on a different day, that mistouch, it costs you big time, you know what I mean? Those little things, they can cost you, it may not be costing you now, and you can get away with it now, but you don't want that to be the habit. But I think he should be professional enough to, he'll get better, man. We give him time, others, they'll give him time. We give him time as well. So,
yeah, just other things in that first half. I felt like we had a good kick chase, good line speed. Ireland hit back. Yeah. And then it was brought back for an illegal clean, which was taken to the bunker. It could have been.
No, that
I mean, for what?
Red.
Yeah, for what we saw the past 2 weeks with us, it could have been a straight red. Yeah. Although it was taken to the. You know what? I'm not even going to complain about it, because this is what we would have wanted to see the past 2 weeks. Okay, true. So when the right call gets made, we can't be like, it didn't happen to us, so it mustn't happen to. We just want the right call to be made. Okay. So that way, I will say that right call was made.
In part, because the right call was made, because yes, he was sent off yellow, bunker, good, but then should have been a straight red, because number one, he was always illegal, and this is what World Rugby's got as their laws. Before the game, SuperSport showed that they broke that whole thing down, and that was exactly always illegal. Even the referee said it in the game; it was always illegal. So that's it should be full red card, but it didn't happen. The thing is, we know for a fact that if it was a Springbok player, it would have been. But look, that's their luck, the luck of the Irish. I think that's what they say. So it happens. It's rugby.
Yeah, and then I mean, moving on from that, we saw the scrum dominance midway through the. It was from the first scrum, but then we started getting more penalties and penalties. And it was foreshadowing of what was to come, and it seems like it's always coming on the loose head side, like Bowen Fence's side. It was coming through it, even with Ox, it's coming through that side. So I wonder if that's how the Springboks do it. Is that's where they're trying to target, because it wasn't too much. I know the loose head got sent off for Ireland eventually, but it seemed like the shove was coming from that loose head side, and yeah, it was just a foreshadowing of what was to come. Yeah, other things in the game, upgraded to a red. Like we said, Tommy O'Brien having a tough time. Box variation at set piece. Then you get to the end of the second half, well, in the first half, before the second half, and then they bring on two more props. Like it wasn't a problem enough. They bring on another two. But this is also the thing where it slowly started to disintegrate for Ireland because they couldn't compete at set piece.
Yes.
But whose fault is that?
It's not. It's not.
So now they were exposed. So then it's like the referee only, if it's an infringement, it's an infringement. The referee has to blow if it's an infringement.
Yes.
You can't save them at that stage. You can't. Unfortunately, you can't save them.
He tried a little bit to save them because
He tried.
It took a while before he was just like, look, I'm fed up.
Yeah, but my thing is also, it's like there's people that are complaining that it wasn't a great watch from like that point on, or the game kind of disintegrated, or the referee took center stage. My thing is, if it's an infringement, you have to blow the infringement.
Yeah.
Number two, if you can't compete, it's not whose fault is it that you can't compete at set piece.
Yeah.
Whose fault? It's not. If the Springboks want to spend time and do this thing right,
It's their
you spending time doing other things. I don't know what you guys are doing at practice. So unfortunately for me, I understand it. I understand it for a neutral or for an Irish supporter or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you cannot scrum, it's an infringement.
Yes.
You need to fix that in your own time.
Yeah.
You can't fix that during the game. You know what I mean?
We're not here to coach. Referees are not there to coach players and whatnot. And in any case, the scrum quarters, like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you know as a forward yourself. But for the backs, when the backs know that the big guys are breaking these guys' soul. The backs they know. Okay, now we need to cut them apart, and because the energy comes from the forwards. I mean, it's in the name, forwards. That's where you're getting your forward momentum and your and for me, the only thing I'll say is that for me the referee took too long to make a decision. Okay, on the one side. On the other hand, what I will say is this: the referee also didn't want to make it a 50-50 lottery at the scrum time. That's why he allowed that reset to say, okay, he was giving the opportunity for correction in those resets, and they couldn't hang. So it's not the ref's fault. It's not the Boks fault. You need to go look at your whatever, like you say, whatever you're doing in your training time. If you're not focusing on that aspect, it's part of rugby. And the Springboks, like I said earlier, always renowned, big, physical, what. Now it's been harnessed correctly, so, hey, you have to figure it out,
Yeah. And then the other thing is, because if you're not competing at set piece, we're talking scrums and lineouts.
Yeah, you don't have a game.
Where are you going to play? Because they played well, ball in hand. They were decent in the air, but how are you going to get possession?
Yeah.
You've got a situation where I think it was 50 minutes, they got 12 penalties or something like that. You can't play. So again, there's boos at halftime, but what must the ref do? Like I said, it's an infringement. We talk about the second half. For me, that was just the Boks leveraging the momentum that they got at the end of the first half, where they continued to leverage that. Sasha got his try. They were down in the defense. I like that play where it's the fly half and then the fullback behind center scrum. You don't know which way they're going to go. And like that, Sasha, as a running threat, that's where he'll find space. That's where he'll find danger. Then at this point, there's two ways that you can go with this thing. Is that I feel, especially on second watch, that Ireland rallied. They were at home.
Yes.
And they're a good side. They were world number one up until recently. Yeah. And so I'll give it to them to say that they rallied, they got turnovers at the line out, turnovers in their own 22. Yeah. So I'm not... The other way you can go is say that the Springboks just weren't clinical enough.
That's where I was going.
So you can take one of two views to say that the Springboks were poor and that they didn't put them away in a way that they should have put them away, or you can say that they're a proud nation, they're a good nation, and they fought as much as they could. And I'll take that. I'm taking that stance. You on the other side of the fence.
No, remember what we said last week. Two things can be correct at the same time. It was both that for me, But I'm choosing to look at it from the Springbok perspective to say, yes, also even within that perspective, it's scary to think if these guys, this wasn't 100% performance or close to even 100% performance. Let's not kid ourselves. And that's why I'm like, anyone, because if they had taken all their chances, executed, to the T, that's maybe another 50 points, Yeah, it can't be, because they deserved that. Ireland deserved that this past weekend. They deserved to get a hiding, because, and yes, they rallied, but for the most part, for me, it's there was just that little detail that the Springboks missed in terms of those breakdowns, but also that detail was also exposed when Ireland were getting those calls, because and some of it was missed as well, because we said last week they're naughty at the breakdown. We saw what they do at the breakdown, and this time they got found out, so it's a bit of both, but for me it's more the Boks, on execution. I think they'll be like, we could have, they feel like, but for me I'll go back and say it wasn't so much about the scoreboard, it was more about we need to beat people, and this was about, you think 2019 to say, physically fuck them up, and they did that to Ireland, whereas Ireland before they've been building that thing where they've been resilient to, like you say, they've upped their game for sure, they've been number one, like you say, and all of that, but ultimately at the end of the day it doesn't matter. You're only as good as your last game. Based on their last game. Shit.
No, but even for me, the way they are. But even for me, where I'll give it to the Boks is that even though they didn't score, they were playing them half field. They were playing them and not even like really half field, because it was kicking to halfway once or twice. Besides that, they were playing them in the 22. They were trapped in the 22. So that's what I'll say is that, okay, fine, you can talk about execution, missed chances, although there was one try scored that they brought back for a forward pass. There was another try that should have been scored, but Jesse Creel got held up when Lubbock was literally right there. So that's two tries. And then there were other opportunities, one or two throughout. So yes, we missed on execution in that part. But at the same time, we also trapped them in their own 22, so that fine, we can't execute, but we still holding you.
To say, get out.
Yeah, to say get out, and they did in the end. But then it was too late. It was too late.
Look, I'll give them that. They had, the try that they scored. Look, when I think it was the second half where the Ireland scored, where they came out. Look, there we saw a glimpse of this is why they've given, and when you look at it, this is why they've given problems. This is why they've climbed up in the rankings and become a team where you seriously have to make sure you prepare and do all those things that ensure that you win the game. But what I like the most is that after that, the Boks, it was almost like they were like, okay, we cannot allow them to do this. Guys, we know we cannot allow them to do this. We have to keep them there, and let's just suffocate them. And it was just like the other week, subdue and penetrate. But unfortunately, we left a good 20, 30 points out there for me, because they deserved a proper lashing and purely because of their fans. And I just don't like them anymore,
I'll say we left a good
30 points.
a good 10, 14.
100.
I'll say we left a good 10, 14 out there. Yeah, late match things, Lubbock clapping in the guy's face, penalty for celebration, RG off and on, just other moments. So I guess I understand why people are like, no, the ref. But ultimately, I don't feel like these were bad calls.
No,
I don't.
right calls, man.
Yeah, these are right calls. In summation, 5 cards. It's not our fault. It's like I said, you do.
The way it's
yeah. With if you're playing touches at practice, you're not scrumming. Then when it comes to game time, unfortunately,
if you're practicing illegal entries, hands in the round, you will get found out eventually.
Yeah. So in summation, for me, it's the 5 cards, and Ireland just couldn't fight at set piece. They showed that thing to rally and pride, and you're at home. Sharp. It wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And they'll have to look themselves in the mirror. They were measured. They were found out. Yeah. And ultimately, like Rassie did, we give the thumbs up. We go again next time. There's guys missing versus Wales, but I think it's another win. Yeah. We'll they can come with I know they like to bring a goat.
No, that's for us. That goat is for the Springboks, actually. You see, they're paying homage to say, no, look, we respect you guys. No, it's an offering to say, please be easy. Be easy on us, because they're gonna. No, look, Wales will fight, yes, but they'll get. They're not going to win. Yeah. If Springboks don't win this one, then it's a serious issue. But,
and all in all, we've mentioned throughout guys like Moody, Thomas Dutoy. I feel like those guys had good games. Guys, Lubbock also, I think he proved why he should have been selected. Like we talked about last week, it was Pollard or Lubbock. Yeah. I felt like he did well in defense. The forward pack, all in all, very, very well. This is the thing where recently, it's only like Visa that I can see is like making a big difference. But like all in all, the pack are working so well. That's kind of hard to single out.
It's a regiment.
Yeah.
This
but Bone Fenter, although I'll say his selection also as a test season, Thomas Dutoy also him as a whole test season, and the Boks as a whole thing. I think we lost against Australia, we lost against the All Blacks. All in all, I feel like it's those you learn more from losses than you do from wins. Yeah. They've kept the same core team together, which there's a lot of people that are like, no, they should bring in the youngsters, they should do this, they should do that. And they proved, no, they were right for sticking with this team, and they've built something. And they've built something emotionally, and they've built a hardness within the team, a fight within the team, and it's paying off now. Yeah. So I agree with those decisions. In that, any final remarks, any closing remarks?
For me, it's get out the way. The green machine, it's fully on track.
Yeah, and that's it from us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're going to cook that goat. Yeah. Thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye.